I used to believe in steady love. The kind where you work hard, stay loyal, build a future. For 5 years, I thought that's what I had. My wife and I were planning a family, finally in a financial place to make it happen. But then I found something in the laundry, small, disgusting, undeniable. And from that moment, my entire world started to crumble. Quietly, then violently. My name's Nate. I work in IT. Not flashy, not loud, just solid, stable, and good at what I do. For 5 years, I thought I had the kind of marriage most people wanted. My wife Rachel and I had talked about starting a family. We were finally in a place where that felt realistic. She taught part-time and picked up some side gigs here and there, and I had just signed a huge new contract for the firm I worked for. It was a deal that changed things. More responsibility, yes, but also a real raise. The kind of money that meant less stress, more freedom, maybe even a house someday soon. When I got the news, I couldn't wait to tell her. I pictured her smile, her arms around me, maybe a dinner out to celebrate. But what I got was distant. She'd been acting off since the camping trip. A week earlier, my boss, Derek, invited a few of us out to a weekend retreat. Team building, he called it. He brought his adult son Tyler along too. Rachel and I had gone on these trips before, usually fun, low-key. This time, though, when we got back, something about her changed. At first, I couldn't put my finger on it. She was distracted, irritable, half there when I spoke to her, like her mind was somewhere else. And one night, it really hit me. She was snapping over nothing, rolling her eyes when I asked normal questions. I told myself it was stress, until I did the laundry. I dumped a load from our hamper into the machine, sorting out some of her stuff when I saw one of her panties had something in the gusset. I picked them up. Whatever it was had dried, but the smell hit instantly. I stood there frozen, mind racing, chest tightening. There was no explanation that made sense, except one. I didn't say anything right away. I didn't confront her. I just felt my hands go cold. My thoughts jumped to all the times she'd said she was tired or busy. The coldness in her voice. The tension since that trip. It all started lining up, like puzzle pieces I never wanted to see. Couldn't ignore it. I had to know. I called up a friend who'd gone through a bad divorce a year earlier. He gave me the number of his lawyer, Linda Porter. Said she was sharp and direct. I called. She answered on the second ring. Linda Porter speaking. Yeah, my name's Nate. A friend of mine recommended you. He said you helped him when his wife cheated on him. She didn't react. Just said, "Do you have proof?" "No," I admitted. "Not yet. Just suspicion. But it's strong." "Then let's make sure," she said. "Come in tomorrow. I'll explain your rights and next steps." The next day, I sat across from her in her quiet office. Sunlight slanted through the blinds. She wore glasses and didn't waste a second. "If you want to divorce her, you can do it clean. No kids, no shared property. But if she cheated, we'll cite it. That changes leverage. We need real evidence, though. Not suspicion. Not feelings." "You mean pictures? Video?" I asked. "Exactly. Anything that shows without a doubt that she crossed the line." "Can you help with that?" "I work with someone discreet. Reliable. His name's Greg." She picked up her phone and made a call right there. A few minutes later, she handed me a list. Tracker app, landline recorder, mini audio recorder I could hide in her purse. "Install everything by tonight," she said. "And if you're going out of town again, that's the window to catch her." Funny enough, I had to fly back to Westport to finalize that contract. 3 days. Enough time for the truth to crawl out from wherever she was hiding it. That night, Rachel was quiet, kind even, like she knew something was slipping and tried to pull it back. She kissed me the next morning as she drove me to the airport. Told me she loved me. Told me to call her after dinner. I promised I would. But in my gut, I already knew I wouldn't like what I'd hear. I landed in Westport around 4 p.m., checked into the hotel, and unpacked like I'd done it 100 times. But this trip felt different. I couldn't focus. I kept checking the tracking app on my phone, watching that little blue dot that was her phone, still at our house. That first evening, I called her like I said I would. She picked up right away, a little breathless. "Hey babe," she said, cheerful. Too cheerful. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just got asked to help out at Derek's house tonight. He's throwing a party and one of his waitresses bailed. He offered me $150 to fill in." "Wait, Derek's throwing a party. Didn't he mention it?" she asked, like it was no big deal. "It's no big deal. No, he hadn't mentioned anything. But I played along." "All right," I said slowly. "Just be careful. And tell me about it tomorrow." "I will," she said. "I love you." "I love you too," I said. But my throat felt tight. I hung up and sat there staring at the ceiling. Something wasn't right. I could feel it in my bones. I messaged Greg. "Rachel is at Derek's party tonight," I wrote. "She says she's waitressing." He replied within minutes. "Got it. We're already watching the house. I'll let you know what we find." That night I barely slept. I stared at the hotel ceiling until morning. Every few hours I checked the app. Her phone stayed at Derek's house the whole time. All night. No movement. The next morning I called her cell. No answer. Tried the landline. Straight to voicemail. I told myself she probably just forgot her phone. Maybe it was charging. Maybe she passed out after a long night. But I didn't believe it. Greg emailed me just after noon. Subject line: confirmation. Message: she spent the night there. Still at the house. She was very busy. I've attached a few photos. Be warned, they're graphic. I'll send the full report when you return. I stared at the message for a full minute before I opened the attachments. And then I broke. Rachel was there. Smiling. Half-dressed. All over 3 different men. One of them was Derek. Another was Tyler, his son. The third, I didn't even recognize. She looked like a stranger. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This was deliberate. Planned. Shameless. Couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. I stumbled down to the hotel bar and ordered a drink. Then another. I didn't even taste them. I just needed something, anything, to dull the sickening churn in my stomach. That evening I tried calling her again. Straight to voicemail. I checked the tracker. Still at Derek's. Greg emailed again the next morning. She's still there. Same activity. More people this time. He attached 2 more photos. This time it wasn't 3 men. It was 10. Derek, Tyler, a few of my old coworkers, even some guys I didn't know. Judging by their clothes, they weren't strangers to the place. Probably friends of Tyler's. Guys in their 20s. The woman in those photos wasn't my wife. She was someone else. Someone I never imagined I'd be associated with. The thought that I'd slept next to her, kissed her, trusted her. I don't remember the rest of that day. I finalized the contract, signed the papers, smiled when I had to. Inside I was numb. I caught an early flight home. I got back from Westport just after noon. Took a cab from the airport and watched the familiar streets go by like they belonged to someone else's life. When I got home, her car wasn't in the driveway. I checked the tracker. Still at Derek's. I unlocked the door, walked in, and just stood in the entryway for a moment. The house felt smaller somehow. Dimmer. Like it had lost whatever warmth it used to have. I changed clothes, grabbed a glass of water, and called Linda. She picked up immediately. "I've got everything ready," she said. "Once you're ready to proceed, we'll serve the papers. We've also drafted a restraining order. You'll be protected, Nate." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. "Thanks. Are you okay?" "No," I said. "But I'm not doing anything stupid." That's all I needed to hear. I hung up and sat on the couch. The same couch where Rachel and I used to watch movies, eat takeout, talk about future kids. Now I looked at it and felt sick. I didn't expect her to call me, but she did. Around 4 p.m., my phone buzzed. Her name lit up the screen. I answered with a calm I didn't recognize in myself. "Hey babe," she said, breathless. "I just got home." "Where are you?" "Home." There was a pause. "You're back already?" "Wrapped up early," I said. "Took the first flight." "I missed you," she said. "Yeah. You want me to come get you from the airport? No need. I'm already here. Another pause. Well, call me if you need anything. I'm good, I said. I'll be heading out for dinner in a bit. With who? A friend. She hesitated. A woman. Would it matter? Nate. You mean, am I cheating? I asked. No, I never cheated on you. Can you say the same? She didn't answer right away. I ended the call before she could try. She looked at the phone after I hung up. Later I'd hear this on the recording from her purse and said out loud, "He always says he loves me when we hang up." Then she called Derek. And the audio I got from that conversation, it still makes my stomach turn. He knows, she told him. What makes you think that? Derek asked. He's cold, distant. He didn't touch me, didn't even say goodbye. Then maybe it's time he gets used to a new normal, Derek said. He doesn't have to know everything. And if he does, well, we'll make him understand. You're not going to hurt him, are you? I'm just saying, Derek said. We can make sure he knows who you belong to now. Rachel didn't respond right away. Then, quietly, she said, Okay, just don't do anything stupid. I listened to that recording 3 times. Then I made my decision. Next morning, I woke up early. Rachel was still asleep in our bed like nothing had happened. I got dressed quietly, walked into the kitchen, and opened her purse, pulled out the audio recorder, downloaded the call between her and Derek. I didn't even listen to it again. I'd already memorized every disgusting word. I copied the file and sent it to Linda. Less than 5 minutes later, she called me back. This is more than enough, she said. I'll call the bailiff. We can serve her this afternoon. Perfect. And Nate? Yeah. Don't tell her yet. Act normal. Give us time to get everything in place. I'm not a good actor, Linda. Then lie like she did. Just for a little longer. I didn't respond. I just hung up and got ready for the rest of the day. Later that morning, Rachel finally woke up. She walked into the kitchen like we were just another happy couple. I was at the computer, typing something up. Morning, she said softly. Hey, you okay? I don't know. Just a little off. Might be jet lag. You want breakfast? No thanks. Not hungry. She leaned in to kiss me. I turned slightly so it landed on my cheek. That confused her. I could see it. You sure everything's all right? She asked. I've got dinner plans tonight, I told her. Again. Yeah. Same friend. Same. She didn't say anything else. She just nodded, turned around, and walked away like her brain was trying to figure out what I knew and what I didn't. I didn't say goodbye when I left the house. Didn't say I love you, and she noticed. Later that afternoon, I pulled into the driveway and saw her car already there. I opened the front door and walked into the living room. She was on the couch, waiting. You're back early, she said. Yeah. Where did you go? Met with someone. Had a conversation. Talked. Anyone I know? No. You going out again tonight? Probably. She stood up. Nate, what is going on? I told you, I said calmly. I don't feel well. I'll sleep on the futon again tonight. She looked like she was trying not to cry. And for a second, I saw a glimpse of the woman I used to know. Or maybe it was just guilt finally surfacing. Later that evening, she called Derek again. The purse recorder caught it. I don't know what to do, she said. He's not touching me, not talking to me. Derek didn't flinch. Then let him leave, he said. You can stay with us. We'll make sure he doesn't cause problems. What if he goes public? She asked. He won't. If he was going to, he would have done it already. And if he does? Then we deal with it. Simple as that. You're not going to hurt him, right? Stop asking, Derek snapped. You're ours now. You don't get to second guess it. She went quiet. Then she whispered, Okay, that was all I needed. I stood up, went to the safe, opened it. I hadn't touched that pistol in years. I didn't plan on using it now, but I wasn't going to take any chances. I placed it on the kitchen table. Then I printed the photos, the ones Greg had sent. the ones she hadn't seen yet. When she came home later, she looked surprised to see me sitting there. I didn't say anything. I just nodded toward the manila envelope on the table. She opened it, and her face fell apart. She opened the envelope slowly. I watched her hands tremble before she even saw what was inside. When she pulled out the photos, printed in color, time-stamped, her eyes widened like someone had pulled the floor out from under her. The first one showed her sitting on Derek's lap, half undressed. The second had her and Tyler in a bedroom I recognized. The third had more than 2 people in it. She didn't say anything, just stared at the photos like they were in another language. I broke the silence. You want to explain that? She couldn't speak. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. You think I'm stupid? I said, my voice calm. Too calm. You think I didn't notice? After that trip with Derek? You changed, Rachel. And I saw it, felt it, heard it. Her lips finally moved. I never meant for it to happen like this. But it did. She looked down. Tears were forming, but I didn't care. I gave you 5 years, I said. And this is how you pay me back? Sneaking around with my boss? His son? Our co-workers? I swear it wasn't planned, she said, voice shaking. No, I agreed. It was chosen, over and over again. That's worse. She noticed the pistol on the table and froze. Is that for me? No, I said. It's for Derek, in case he gets any stupid ideas about showing up here. She stood still, eyes locked on the weapon, scared now. Sit down, I said. She sat. Here's how this is going to go. Later today, someone will stop by to hand you official documents. Divorce papers, a restraining order. Your half of the joint account will be sent to you. The credit cards are already canceled. Her eyes welled up. You're serious? You have until then to pack your things. Anything you leave behind will be donated, burned, or trashed. I don't want a divorce, she whispered. Please, Nate, I still love you. Don't, I said. Don't you dare say that. It was a mistake. No, I cut her off. A mistake is one moment, one lapse in judgment. What you did, that was a lifestyle. She buried her face in her hands and started sobbing. Don't do this, she said. You already did. She looked up at me again. Can't we go to counseling? Try to fix this. I leaned forward. If this had happened one time, if you came to me, told me the truth, begged for forgiveness, I might have considered it. But you chose to go back. Again and again. You stayed at his house for days. You let them record you. You told him I didn't matter. I was confused. No, I snapped. You were excited. You were bored. And you liked it. Silence again. I'm filing for divorce citing adultery, I continued. And I won't stop there. Derek and I are going to court. I'm suing for alienation of affection. I already won the moral side. Now I'm coming for the legal one. You can't. I can. I already started. Then her eyes flashed something new. Fear. What about my job? She asked. If people see those pictures, you should have thought about that before you turned into a party favor. She covered her face again. You'd ruin my life? You ruined your own. I stood. You'll give up my last name. Turn in your wedding ring. And once you walk out that door, you won't come back. She just sat there, crying. Then she reached for her hand. Slowly, she pulled off the ring and set it on the table beside the photos. I didn't touch it. A few minutes later, she stood and walked into the bedroom to start packing. I poured a glass of water and sat back down. The house was finally silent. And for the first time in days, so was my mind. She packed like a ghost. Quiet, robotic, pulling clothes from drawers without looking at me, eyes swollen from crying. I didn't say anything. I sat at the table and watched the front door. The knock came just after 4 p.m. She froze. I opened it. A county deputy stood there, uniform crisp, envelope in hand. Candace Burns? He asked, using her legal name. She stepped slowly into the hallway. That's me, she said weakly. Do you have ID? She showed her license. Thank you, ma'am. You've been served. He handed her the documents, divorce papers and a copy of the restraining order. You need to vacate the property immediately, he added. You may not come within 150 meters of this residence or the petitioner's workplace. If you violate that, you'll be arrested. She nodded, lips trembling. You may sign here if you agree not to contest the divorce, he added. She took the pen, signed, and handed everything back. Then she turned to me. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I never wanted it to be like this. Neither did I. She stepped past me, picked up a garbage bag full of clothes, and walked it out to her car. Made another trip. Then another. I didn't offer to help. Not even once. At one point she looked at me. You'd really throw out my wedding dress? Yes. My parents paid thousands for it. Then take it. Her eyes filled again. But she didn't argue. A few hours later, she dropped onto the arm of the couch, exhausted. I can't fit everything in the car, she said. Can I come back tomorrow for the rest? No. But your parents can. Thank you, she said quietly. Then she whispered, what am I supposed to tell them? Try telling them the truth for once. If I do that, they'll disown me. That's your problem, I said. A few minutes later, the deputy returned. Time to go, ma'am. She stood, paused at the doorway, and looked back one more time. I loved you, she said. Even if I didn't show it right. I didn't answer. The door closed behind her. Silence again. Then I walked to the office, grabbed the voicemail Derek had left, threatening me, and emailed it to Linda. She'd know what to do with it. I poured myself a coffee and leaned on the kitchen counter. I wasn't angry. I wasn't relieved. I was just empty. Next day, around 11 a.m., there was a knock at the door. I opened it and found her parents standing there, Bernice and George. They looked uncomfortable but calm. Bernice had a box of folded towels in her hands. George carried a few black trash bags full of Rachel's things. Morning, Nate, George said. Thanks for letting us come by. I nodded. She's not here, if that's what you're wondering. We know, Bernice said. She told us. Told them what I didn't know. But I figured it wasn't close to the real story. She said things got messy, George added. That the marriage fell apart because of stress. Your work, mostly. I let out the smallest laugh. Not amused, just exhausted. Come in, I said, stepping back. They entered slowly, looking around like it was someone else's house. Like they didn't know where they were anymore. She said you've been staying away from each other, Bernice added. That maybe space would help. I walked into the kitchen, opened a drawer, and pulled out a plain brown folder. Then I handed it to George. What's this? Evidence. He opened it. Inside, a handful of printed photos. The milder ones. No faces but hers. Nothing graphic, but enough. His eyes widened. Bernice peeked over his shoulder, then immediately looked away. She didn't tell you the truth, I said. And I didn't plan on being the one to say it. But you deserve to know why your daughter isn't welcome in this house anymore. George stood silent. His face shifted. Confusion first, then embarrassment, then quiet shame. She said it was one guy, Bernice whispered. I shook my head. It wasn't. She said it was a mistake, she added. It wasn't that either. We stood there for a while in silence. George handed the folder back. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, I replied. This isn't on you. They picked up the rest of her bags without another word. On the way out, Bernice stopped and turned. For what it's worth, Nate. We loved having you in the family. I loved being part of it, I said honestly. She gave a sad smile and nodded. And then they left. That night, I sat on the back porch with a beer and the weight of 5 years pressing on my chest. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just breathed. A few nights after her parents came by, I was sitting on the couch eating takeout when I saw headlights pull into the driveway. It was late, around 9:30. I muted the TV and stood up slowly. Then came the knock. Hard. 3 times. I looked through the peephole. It was Derek. Behind him were 3 guys. Tyler, his son, and 2 of our former coworkers from Ridgeview. All of them looked tense, aggressive, like they were trying to intimidate me. I opened the door halfway, not enough for them to see much, but enough to make it clear I wasn't afraid. "What do you want?" I asked flatly. "You know damn well what I want," Derek said. "You back off with this lawsuit crap." I said nothing. "You've already humiliated her. What more do you want?" he snapped. "I didn't humiliate anyone," I said. "She did that all by herself. You're going to regret dragging my name through this," he said, stepping forward. But I didn't back up. "Take one more step, and I call the police." "You think we're scared of that?" Tyler said from behind him. "Come on, man. You're not that guy." "I don't have to be," I said. "But I am the guy who filed a restraining order against your father. You just violated it." That made Derek pause. "Leave. Now," I said. "Or stay and enjoy your ride in a cruiser." He grinned. Then, from behind my back, I pulled the phone I had been recording the whole thing on. "Thanks for the threats," I said. "You just made this even easier." And right then, perfect timing, red and blue lights flashed across the street. 2 squad cars pulled up fast. My neighbor had already called them. Within minutes, all 4 of them were lined up on the sidewalk. The cops asked me if I wanted to press charges. "Yes," I said. "Every single one that sticks." I handed over the audio, showed the restraining order, even pointed out the tracker data and Derek's past voicemail. They cuffed him first. He barked something about me being a coward. I just stood there and watched. Tyler got cuffed next. Then the other 2. One of the officers walked over to me. "You did everything right," he said. "We'll handle the rest." When they drove off, I walked back into the house and locked the door. Sat on the couch. Stared at nothing. It didn't feel like a victory, but it felt like justice. I texted Linda the full story. She responded instantly. "Beautiful. This helps your case. Big time." The next day, I went into Crestwell like nothing had happened. Adam gave me a nod when I walked in, like he'd heard, like he respected how I handled it. I respected it too, because a few months ago, I would have let them walk all over me. Now, I wasn't scared anymore. A month later, we were in court. Not for the divorce that was already finalized. This time, it was the civil suit. Alienation of affection. The legal name for, "You destroyed my marriage on purpose, and now you pay." Linda had warned me from the start. These cases are rare. They're hard to win. Judges don't like them unless the proof is overwhelming. We had overwhelming. She walked into that courtroom like a surgeon going into an operating room. Calm, focused, precise. Derek came in grinning. Hair slicked back, expensive suit, surrounded by his legal team. His lawyer looked smug, arrogant. Probably thought this would be a slap on the wrist and a settlement. They had no idea what Linda was holding. She opened with the basics. Marriage timeline. The changes that followed the work retreat. The discovery of evidence. The audio. The judge listened. Expression unreadable. Then she played a few clips. One of the phone calls between Rachel and Derek. Another one between Rachel and Tyler. And finally, Derek threatening me on my voicemail. That changed everything. Derek's attorney immediately tried to object. "Contextless recordings. They were voluntarily recorded by the defendant," Linda snapped, "and show clear intent to interfere with a legal marriage." The judge agreed. Objection overruled. Continue. Then came the photos. Not all of them. Just enough. Rachel in Derek's lap. Rachel with Tyler. Rachel in a room full of people, clearly not working a catering shift. Every image had timestamps, dates, cross-referenced with my travel records, emails, location data. By the time Linda rested our case, even the clerk looked uncomfortable. Then it was Derek's turn. His lawyer tried the "it was consensual between adults" defense. Tried to say I was just bitter. Tried to imply that I had neglected my wife and pushed her away. But the judge wasn't buying it. "I've reviewed the materials," he said, after both sides made closing arguments. And I've presided over family law for 23 years. I don't think I've ever seen something this calculated. Derek shifted in his seat. You targeted a married woman. You used your authority at work. You violated a restraining order. And then you escalated into direct harassment. His voice hardened. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff. A long pause. Damages. $1 million. Dead silence. No gasp. No outburst. Just the sound of Derek's smug little empire crashing down. His lawyer leaned in, whispered something. Derek stood and blurted, "This is absurd." "Sit down, Mr. Carson," the judge said. "Unless you'd like to be held in contempt as well." He sat. I didn't look at him. Not once. The judgment was final. No appeals. No negotiation. Just a wire transfer and a signature. Outside the courtroom, Linda handed me a copy of the ruling. "You okay?" she asked. "I don't feel anything," I said. She smiled. "That's better than feeling everything." And it was. After the court ruling, I took 2 weeks off work. Not because I needed a vacation. I just needed space. Silence. A chance to breathe without looking over my shoulder, waiting for the next crisis. The $1 million transfer came in 4 business days later. Linda forwarded the confirmation email. I read it once, then archived it. I didn't touch the money. Not for a while. Instead, I spent my mornings walking through the neighborhood. No phone. No music. Just the sound of my shoes on the pavement and the wind moving through trees that hadn't done anything wrong. Afternoons were quieter. Evenings were therapy. Julia, my therapist and Adam's wife, helped more than I expected. I told her things I hadn't said out loud since high school. She never gave me cliches. She just listened, asked real questions, and helped me unpack what I'd buried. But then, life threw one more curveball. It started with a call. Blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. Later that night, I listened. It was Bernice, Rachel's mom. Her voice shook. "Nate, I'm sorry to reach out again, but it's about Rachel. She's sick. Really sick. She tested positive for HIV a few weeks ago. She told us she wanted you to know. I don't know if you'll call back, but I thought you should hear it from us." I didn't move, didn't speak. Just sat there holding the phone to my ear as the silence took over. I didn't cry. I didn't panic. But a chill ran through me that I couldn't shake. I called my doctor first thing in the morning. Explained everything. He was calm, professional. Ordered full panels. Blood work. Urine. Every test they could run. I waited a week. When the results came back, he called me personally. "You're negative," he said. "Everything's clean." I sat down on the exam table and exhaled for what felt like the first time in months. "But," he added, "I'd recommend you come back in 6 months for a follow-up, just to be absolutely sure." "Okay." I hung up and just sat there. I should have felt relief, maybe even gratitude, but all I felt was sad. Not for her. Not for me. Just for the whole damn story. I called Bernice back that night. She picked up on the first ring. "She's staying with us now," she said. "She's lost a lot of weight. Doesn't leave her room much. I got tested." I told her. "I'm clear." "That's good. That's really good." "She wanted to talk to me?" I asked. "She did. But she also knows she's the last person you probably want to hear from." "I'll think about it." "She's scared, Nate. I'm not the one who made her sick." "I know. But she still wanted to say something. Before it's too late." I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no. 2 days later, I pulled up outside her parents' house. I hadn't seen it since the early days before the chaos. Back when holidays felt like home, and Rachel's mom made cinnamon rolls from scratch while her dad watched football half asleep. Now the place felt quiet. Not peaceful. Just heavy. Bernice opened the door before I even knocked. "She's in her old room," she said gently. "You can go in when you're ready." I stepped inside. The hallway smelled like childhood, like furniture polish and old photo albums. When I opened the door, Rachel was sitting on the edge of the bed in an oversized hoodie. She looked up slowly. Thinner, pale, hollow in the eyes. "Nate," she said. barely above a whisper. I said nothing, just stood there waiting. "You look good," she tried. I still didn't respond. She took a slow breath. "I know I'm probably the last person you want to see." "You're not wrong." Silence stretched. "I wanted to tell you I'm sorry," she said. "For real. Not like the forced apology in your kitchen. I mean it now." "Why now?" I asked. "Because there's nothing left to protect. No more lies to keep me safe. I just needed you to know I never stopped loving you." I laughed quietly. "You had a strange way of showing it." She nodded. "I know. I messed everything up. I let something in, and it just kept spreading. I thought it was attention, freedom, power, but it was just rot." She looked down at her hands, thin, shaking. "I kept telling myself you'd never find out. Or if you did, maybe you'd forgive me. That maybe love could survive anything." "It can," I said. "But trust doesn't." That hit her hard. She closed her eyes for a moment. "Do you hate me?" "No." She looked up, surprised. "I hate what you did. I hate how you treated me. But I don't hate you. Not anymore. You're not the same person. And I'm not either." She blinked fast, holding back tears. "Derek, he lost it when I told him. About the test. About Tyler too." "I know," I said. "I figured." She nodded. "It happened fast. One minute he was yelling. The next, it was just blood and screaming. Then silence. I didn't ask for details. I didn't want them. I kept thinking I deserved it," she said. "That maybe this was karma, or judgment, or just the price for what I did to you." "I don't believe in karma," I replied. "But I believe in consequences. I never wanted this." "You wanted something, Rachel," I said. "Something that mattered more than me." She couldn't argue. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," she said quietly. "I just wanted to say it, out loud, before I can't." I nodded. "You said it." She looked at me, eyes tired. "Are you happy?" "Not yet. But I will be." A pause. "I hope you find someone who doesn't break everything good," she said. "I hope she's kind, and boring, and steady, and honest." "Me too." I stood. "Goodbye, Rachel." She didn't try to stop me, just said, "Goodbye, Nate." I closed the door behind me, walked past the hallway photos, stepped out into the sun. And for the first time in a long time, it didn't feel heavy. A week after I saw Rachel, she passed. Bernice called me. She didn't cry. Her voice was soft, steady, like someone who'd run out of tears long before the end. "She went in her sleep," she said. "Quiet, peaceful." I said the only thing I could. "I'm sorry." And I meant it. Not for what happened between us, but for the way her story ended. For how lost she got. They held a small memorial. I didn't go, but I sent flowers. A simple note. "You were part of my life. That mattered once. Rest now." And with that, I closed the book. I started showing up to life again. Slowly. Work was good. Crestwell gave me room to grow, not just professionally, but as a person. Julia, my therapist, said something during one of our sessions that stuck with me. "Trauma doesn't end when the event ends. It ends when your nervous system finally believes you're safe again." It hit hard, because for the first time in months, I did feel safe. I was still sleeping alone, still drinking my coffee in silence, still watching the same dumb crime shows before bed. But I didn't feel hollow anymore. Then, one Friday afternoon, Haley, one of the reps at work, walked into my office. Not flirtatious, just friendly. "We're doing happy hour," she said. "Come this time. No excuses." I almost said no, but something stopped me. "All right," I said. She blinked. "Wait, seriously?" "Yeah. I'm curious what beer tastes like when it's not drowning misery." She laughed. "Then you've been drinking the wrong beer." That night I went. It wasn't a big deal. No sparks. No romance. Just wings, drinks, dumb stories, and some badly played darts. But it was the first time in a long time that I felt like I was back in the world. Not hiding from it. Haley and I didn't start dating. Not then. But a few weeks later we had lunch. Then dinner. Then I kissed someone for the first time since Rachel. It didn't feel like betrayal. It felt like breath. I don't know where it's going. And I'm not rushing it. Because here's what I learned through all of this. Healing isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It creeps in slowly, between quiet mornings, in unremarkable afternoons, in laughter that catches you off guard. You don't wake up one day and say, I'm over it. You just realize one day that you didn't think about them at all. It's been a year, 12 months since I found what was on that underwear, since I installed a tracker, since I stood in my kitchen, watching her open an envelope that shattered both of us, since courtrooms, since cops, since loss, since her. Rachel's name doesn't come up much anymore. Not at work, not with friends, not even in my own mind. It's not because I forgot. It's because I lived past it. I kept going. Haley and I, we're still seeing each other. It's not intense, not whirlwind. And thank God for that. It's real, steady, light. Sometimes we talk about our pasts. Sometimes we don't. She never pries. And I never use her as a way to prove anything. I like that. I got a new couch, new dishes, new locks, donated her old wedding dress, painted the hallway. I'm not trying to erase the past. I just don't want to live inside it. One night, I sat outside with a cup of coffee. Same porch, same breeze, different man. I remembered something Rachel said during our last conversation. I hope you find someone who doesn't break everything good. And for the first time, I realized I already had, not someone else. Me. I didn't snap. I didn't fall apart. I didn't take revenge. I stood my ground, protected my peace, chose healing over hate. And that was the beginning of the real story.